Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today we're, just playing a real piece of garbage. A deck centered around the use of level 2 or lower normal monsters. Now the reason I always liked the idea of this archetype is because Konami will print whatever broken crap they want as long as it includes the clause level 2 or lower normal monsters. If you don't believe me, look at cards like Tri-Wight, Human Wave Tactics, Law of the Normal, Enchanted Fitting Room. They're all really, really good, but they get really, really bad cards. So let's jump into Deck Edit and see how we've made these completely unplayable monsters at least semi-competitive. So here's the deck list. Now, the first thing you want to ask yourself when you decide to play a level 2 or lower normal monster deck is, how do I actually win the game? And there's a couple of really sweet options that I haven't included in the deck. The first is Dystopia the Despondent, a massive 5,000 attack beat stick that can only be special summoned by sending 4 level 1 monsters you control to the graveyard. Unfortunately, level 1 is not really what I wanted to do with this deck, and more importantly, there are just better ways to cheese out Dystopia the Despondent. At the end of the day, he's just a big dumb guy who does big dumb things. The other way that you can win the game is by using this spell card called the Law of the Normal. It sends all cards on the field and in the hand to the graveyard as long as you have 5 level 2 or lower normal monsters on your side of the field. This is a really sweet way to win the game, but unfortunately requires you to have either a massive pendulum summon that uses like 7 cards exactly, or Human Wave Tactics shenanigans, so it's really too inconsistent to rely on to win the game. The way we're going to win the game is by 2 ways. Either we're going to Box of Friends. We have 2 really sweet packages. That's Master Pendulum the Draco Slayer and Steelerin for Dinoster Power, the mighty big dragon man, or Atlantean Pikeman, Clown Zombie, and Galaxy Serpent in any permutation in order to make rank 2 Xyz. Of course, it can't be used for Synchro Summons, but getting a Galaxy Serpent is usually a good idea because Tri-Wight is a really busted card. In fact, the reason we're playing all of these level 2 or lower normal monsters is to enable some really powerful strategies here. The second way we're planning on winning the game is using Dragon's Mirror after we've made an Xyz or a Synchro or whatever in order to get out a First of the Dragons. A lot of decks just don't actually have an out to this card, and I think that's hilarious and want to steal as many games as possible using it. So we're playing 1 copy of Master Pendulum the Draco Slayer to go along with our Metaphos Steelerins, 3 copies of Sylvebird. I liked this one because it was a low-level normal monster as well. You can get it off of Enchanted Fitting Room. 3 copies of Atlantean Pikeman, 3 Clown Zombie, 3 Laughing Flower, and 3 Galaxy Serpent. These are the highest attack level 2 or lower normal monsters. The defensive ones aren't really worth talking about. It's not like anything goes up to 2,000, really. Laughing Flower, I think, is just absolutely hilarious. This card is fantastic. We're also playing Metaphos Steelerin as the other half of this combo and as a target for Box of Friends, just a really powerful strategy overall. She also has 2100 defense, which is nice. 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit lets us get Xyz, get Sync Monsters, etc. 3 copies of Box of Friends, they let us get our shenanigans happening. Next, we're into the broken spells and traps. So we got 3 copies of Enchanted Fitting Room. This card is absolutely absurd. You get to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and special summon any level 3 or lower normal monsters you find. Usually you get 2, sometimes you get 4. No matter what happens, it's really great. 3 copies of Dragon's Mirror. This allows us to exile some terrible, terrible Laughing Flowers from our graveyard in order to make First of the Dragons. Just think, 2 flowers together make this nightmare. Next, we have the best card in the deck, Tri-Wight. It's 3 Monster Reborns, lets us go directly into a rank 2, or usually, and more likely, a rank 6 Synchro. Getting Charge Warrior is great if you have another Galaxy Serpent in hand, and getting Coral Dragon is great if you don't. Then we have some Metaphos cards. We have 1 combination, 1 fusion, and 1 full fusion. That's to enable some Metaphos strategies in the extra deck, alongside the fact that we are actually playing some Metaphos cards in and of themselves. 2 copies of Painful Decision. This lets us get a scale that we're missing, or just get like a Galaxy Serpent. There's a lot of flexibility with this card. And then finally, 3 copies of Human Wave Tactics. We'll talk about this in the post-game discussion, but boy, this is a terrible card that I really wanted to try out. In the extra, we've got 2 copies of First of the Dragons for 3 copies of Dragon's Mirror. I just assume I won't draw all 3. 1 Aura Hulk, 1 Mithril, and 1 Alakest, the absolutely least amount of Metaphors I can be playing. Then 1 Dinoster Power, the mighty Draco Slayer. For Synchros, we have a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon we can go into very easily, a Scar-Right Dragon, a Coral, a Armory Arm. We needed a 4-star target, a Stardust Charge Warrior, and a Hyper Librarian. In the unlikely event we get a Metaphos Silverbird along with a Galaxy Serpent. I say unlikely, but this happened a lot, actually. Then we have the only 3 good 2-star Xyz monsters we can make: Crumble Logos, Phoenix, and Sky Cavalry Centuria. So let's jump into the games and see what happens. So our first matchup is up against DDD, that is Different Dimension Demons. You're likely to see this matchup at a regional near you coming soon. Level 2 or lower normal monsters versus DDD. We've opened okay. We have a couple of the same Metaphos, and it's not a level 2 one, which is kind of frustrating. We also have a couple of Metaphos spells that I was kind of hoping to pull out of my deck, not draw. But we do have the best card in our deck, Laughing Flower, so things might be okay. Our opponent is going to go first. They've opened all right. They're going to go ahead and Dark Contract their way to a Savant, and then they're going to slime their way into an Oracle King Dark. Now, one thing that DDD players always seem to do is set up an Oracle King Dark and just believe it will make it to the next turn. So I figure if I burn him for 3,000 here, engineer a way to get Alakest, I can burn him for 6,000, and then it's just, you know, a hop, skip, and jump away from lethal. So we're going to draw Enchanted Fitting Room. Really, really lucky Enchanted Fitting Room here. We get 3 level 2 or lower normal monsters. Going to summon them all. I don't want to commit a lot of resources to board because I can't rebuild the same way he can, so I'm just going to blow up one of my existing monsters in order to set a Metaphos Fusion, get that out of my deck, go into a Sky Cavalry, and return this Oracle King Dark back to his deck using its effect. We're going to set 2 cards. Remember, I can use full Metaphos Fusion on his turn to make Alakest because I have a Metaphos and a normal monster, and going to pass back. He's going to start by taking 3,000. I feel alright about that. He's drawn an Upstart Goblin, and I'm sure this will draw him Savant. What do you know? And then he's going to use the Savant to return the Savant. I don't really understand what's going on here, but, you know, DDD players operate on a different wavelength than me, so I may just be stupid. He's going to go into another Oracle King Dark, which seems alright, but he obviously doesn't understand what Centuria does, and as soon as he reads the card, he quits. Our second matchup is against Destiny Heroes Heroes. This is a very redundant deck that tries to use some of the Destiny Hero cards that were just released alongside Shadow Mist in order to, you know, well, basically summon Dark Law a whole bunch of times. We've opened okay, but not great, and like any good Heroes player, he gets to go first. So he's going to Hero Lives, take 4,000 damage in order to play an Elemental Hero Shadow Mist and get a Mask Change. Now, as anyone who's ever played against Heroes knows, we are about to enter my favorite part of the Heroes matchup, which is how on earth can I beat this Dark Law? He doesn't get a spell off of this Diamond Dude, which is great, and then sets a couple Mask Change and ends his turn. So we can't really Metaphos here, because if he flips this Mask Change, then they're going to get banished, and I'm going to draw some cards out of my hand. So I'm just going to Pendulum Summon here my 2 monsters. This is where he should be flipping up Dark Law, but he doesn't. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and Synchro Summon, since this is Galaxy Serpent, into an Armory Arm. This ensures they end up in the graveyard and not banished. That means I can Dragon's Mirror the in-graveyard monsters away for the one, the only First of the Dragons. So we're going to go into battle phase. He's going to Mass Change into Anarchy. I'm like, oh, never mind. I'll just send my Armory Arm into this Diamond Dude, and then in main phase 2, I will equip it to my good friend First of the Dragons. Now, remember, this guy can't be destroyed by battle unless it's battle with a normal monster, so I'm not in danger of him dying. I am, however, in danger of my Armory Arm dying. So we're just going to tuck that nicely away behind my Dragon Man. He's going to go into Dark Law now and get his Shadow Mist effect, adding a Celestial. I'll set this Vanity's Emptiness and end my turn. So I'm feeling okay. He's at pretty low life, especially because I have an Armory Arm on this guy. He's going to go ahead and Destiny draw and start attacking in directly with Anarchy. I want this Dark Law out so I can start doing Metaphos shenanigans. Also, this Painful Decision is not very good if there's a Dark Law on the field. So I'll attack. He uses Dynamite Guy, so we both take 1,000, and then he takes 2,400, going to 200. I'm feeling all right about this. We're going to now start doing the Metaphos shenanigans, getting a full Metaphos and adding a Metaphos to our hand, so if he engineers some way to get rid of First of the Dragons, we can go into Alakest instead. On his turn, he's going to get Celestial, use Celestial, draw some cards, and then concede. So this last match is in here to show you basically the best power play this deck has. Our opponent is playing like the Eidolon Magician deck, which I think is like cool but not particularly good. We don't get to see a lot of it, however, because of our turn 1. We open up 2 copies of Enchanted Fitting Room, which, of course, is busted and does not contain a once per turn clause. So the first one gets us 1 level 2 or lower normal monster, I believe. Yep, Clown Zombie. And the second one gets us 2, the Galaxy Serpent and the Metaphose Steelerin. So we're going to go into Stardust Charge Warrior. I'm looking for a way to get 3 in my graveyard in order to Tri-Wight my way to a really, really busted synchro. We're going to get Charge Warrior, draw, and we draw Laughing Flower. So that's pretty excellent. We're going to use Silverbird's effect to blow up Laughing Flower and set a Metaphose Fusion. Then we're going to Tri-Wight the Flower, the Zombie, and the Serpent back in order to continue our massive play. We're going to go into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon using the Serpent and the Stardust Charge Warrior. We can go into a rank 2 Xyz here, but I figure there's something a little more fun we can do. We're going to Painful Decision for a Metaphose, and then we're going to Metaphose Fusion into an Alakest. So we end our first turn with a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, an Alakest, and the best card in the game, Clown Zombie, on our side of the board. And, of course, our opponent decides that's it. So we're back with a deck. Obviously I showed you 3 games in which the deck went pretty well. Keep in mind there were ones that occurred off camera where it did not go very well. I will give my thoughts on the individual card choices. I thought Enchanted Fitting Room was really, really good. I expected to whiff on this continuously, but I don't think I ever did. I played it like maybe 15, 20 times and always hit at least one. Box of Friends was not particularly exciting. When she's not making Ultimaya, this card is a little less than ideal. Galaxy Serpent was really nice, but routinely would get us into weird scenarios where we would try white back like a couple of Galaxy Serpents and we needed a non-tuner monster, so we couldn't like do anything with them. Hands where I drew Tri-Wight felt like completely different games than hands that I didn't. Hands where I drew Dragon's Mirror and had the ability to cast it felt like completely different games than hands that I didn't. But a lot of our games we just bricked into a whole bunch of these vanilla guys. I think Human Wave Tactics was probably the most underwhelming card in the deck. It reads like it's pretty broken, but once you actually play with it, you recognize that special summoning more level 2 or lower normal monsters isn't particularly good, especially when you're only playing 15, and more importantly, relying on your opponent to destroy things through battle and not just kill you over the course of a turn is never a good assumption. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed watching a level 2 or lower normal monster video that did not include Triangle Power. I hope you enjoyed watching Atlantean Pikeman try and make it on his own without the rest of his archetype, and most of all, I hope you just enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give me a like, a comment, or a subscribe. It really helps me out, and if you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, intermittently I am on Twitch at twitch.tv/monobluetron, link is in the description. Finally, if there's a certain deck or archetype you want me to play on a future episode of this show, let me know in the comments section below and I will do my best to accommodate you. Otherwise, I will see you Monday.